AI or whatever that is nothing without a human. It's a dumb machine. You have to teach it. So again, just like I mentioned again, don't. I don't think so. Anybody should think about or anybody should be worried, or anybody should think that their abilities or their talents or their visions in terms of creating something pure are going away anytime soon.
You're listening to Creatives Prevail, unraveling the stories of creative professionals.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creatives Prevail. I'm your host, Mike Zimmerlich, and my next guests are Heather and KW from the independent rock band Dawn in the Dark. We discuss how they make it work as musicians by being hybrid professionals, meaning they have a full-time job while also doing music. We also dive into how they're adapting AI tools into their project. Let's get into it. Hey, Heather. Hey, KW. How's it going?
Hey there. Hey, Mike. All's good. All's well. It's been a interesting Friday, I would say.
Oh, really? Interesting Friday. Anything that you can say on the show?
No, nothing. I just went to Trader Joe's, and instead of buying what I'm supposed to buy, I bought a lot of other stuff, and I got a spanking. So that's been interesting. So
You guys make too many snacks.
no,
But yes.
not bad. Too many snacks for the weekend.
Fair enough. I'm the same way too. I am the worst, the best and the worst shopper. Actually, I think both worst and worst shopper, because I'm the person that does not like to browse, but I definitely do get things that I probably was not intending to buy to begin with.
Yeah.
So I am definitely
you understand, right? You're walking by. Oh, that looks interesting. Yeah, let's put that in as well. So, yeah.
Right, but I'm also not browsing, like actively looking for it. I'm on a mission, but I just easily am distracted along the way of whatever my mission is. Right.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting because both of you have quite of a background when it comes to music. And Heather, I actually would like to start with you first. Is that I noticed that you started in choir. So at an early age, you were into music.
Right. I guess because I was in church quite a bit, so it's a pretty natural progression. And I just enjoyed, like musicals as a kid. And I grew up had a lot of theater opportunities in middle school, high school, and I just really enjoyed that. Just enjoyed singing with groups and just that synergy dynamics. And I think that, I don't know, it does. And so it's like transitioning over to kind of solo stuff was, I would say it's interesting, but singing with the group really, I think, helps hone your skills quite a bit too. So, but yeah, that's how I got into it.
And KW, I noticed that you, before Dawn in the Dark, you were in a lot of different projects, many award-winning projects over the years. So, I mean, your career spans, I think, 20, 30 years, if I understand correctly at this point in time. So can you give me the rundown of how you got into music and how that came about?
So, I got into music because of Casey Kasem, Top 10. Remember
Nice.
the videos, 1980s, 80, 87, 88, 88, I think. And there was this
I was technically around then, so
there was
yes,
this guy
I
on
do
a top
remember a
hat
little bit
and
about
with a Les
that.
Paul. I didn't even know who that guy was. I just liked the look of the Les Paul. It was Sweet Child of Mine. It debuted at number 2, I think, directly. So and I just saw that Les Paul and I said, I have to play this. I have to get this guitar. And then of course I really
How old
enjoyed.
were you?
Huh?
How old were you?
I was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12, 13.
Wow, you were 12 years old.
Yes. So I saw that Les Paul and I said I want that guitar, and the guy who was playing was Slash, and I really enjoyed how he played. So that's how it started, and then it's never been. It's just been. I've never been away from it. My parents just told me one thing. Do your studies, finish your college, do your degree, do your work. Please do that and do whatever on the side. Please keep playing music. So I never disappointed them, and they never actually got in my way. So in that way, it was very nice. So
Wow.
yeah,
So you did end up going to college and pursuing a
yeah. So,
degree.
that's a very important thing. I think with the landscape these days, I think as a musician, I think you need to have some financial way to survive, some means of finance. I've seen musicians around me. I've just like you mentioned. I have a lot of experience. I've not. I don't have much of an experience here in the U.S., but I have a lot of experience in Asia. In touring there and playing there and playing big venues in releasing albums. All that stuff, making videos and all. But over here, and I think everywhere globally right now, scene is completely different, right? So earlier there were record labels, there were A&R agents, there were talent scouts out there looking for bands. Now it's a different. The game has turned around. Now the record labels and everyone, they want you to be viral first, then they will be interested. If you're not viral,
Yep.
they're not even interested. So then, how do you survive as a musician? Because at that earlier, you still had a goal, right? That if somebody spots you, you might have a chance to go and record, and maybe they'll put you out there. Right now it's just you yourself. So if you yourself are going to do it, then you need some sort of finances. So I really give all the credit to my parents that they pushed me to finish my degree. Otherwise I probably would have been a full-time musician, and if I had not made it, probably would have been struggling. So where we are, both of us today, are because we work. So we call ourselves like the hybrid professionals. So we are
Mm-hmm.
like professionals by day, the 9 to 5 thing, and after 9 to 5 we are musicians. We make songs. We to be honest, we don't even watch television. We just I don't know. So yeah, so I think it's kind of hard. It's not easy that you after 9 to 5 you start up doing something else rather than relaxing, which people. But this is honestly for me has been relaxing. So it has helped me in my career as well,
That's great.
in the
Mm-hmm.
IT career. So that's the journey. And
Actually, can I say one thing? I
yeah,
want to back up just a minute
Yeah.
because there wasn't, nobody was teaching guitar in Pakistan
yeah,
in 12,
90,
13. Yeah.
yeah,
Nobody was teaching. So he spent,
91.
just imagine, when you're recording Casey Kasem Top 40 to get that exact timing. You were listening to tapes,
Yeah.
rewinding, playing, rewinding, and learning by ear.
Yeah, that's also
That's how
interesting.
he
That's
learned.
incredible.
So
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, there.
I just wanted
This
to
is like for full context. This is late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
There's no YouTube. There's
No,
like
there's nothing.
there's barely even an existence of an internet at that point in
say, no
time. So
teacher.
that's
Yeah.
and no teacher.
No
I didn't realize that
No,
there was no guitar
we were
teachers.
self-taught. Three of my friends, we started together, and that's about it. I learned by ear. I mean, so that's why my ear apparently is naturally, not because maybe naturally it was good. I don't know. At that, when you're 12, 13, 14, how do you know your ear is good or not? So but I could pick things up, and I could execute them. I could tell where I didn't even know how to tune the damn guitar earlier. So, but I could still figure out what the guy was doing, from just playing and rewinding. So it got better with time, and then you got, sort of came across some guitar world magazines, guitar player magazines, and then it started. Then we started learned. Oh, there's a way to tune a guitar as well. We were playing, I don't know what, in whatever way which was still sounding pretty okay, by the way, to our ears. But then we actually
Wow.
found out as friends that this is the way to actually tune a guitar. EADGBE. Earlier we didn't even know what EADGBE is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were there any books or literature that was available to you, or was it, or just no? Wow,
Started,
that's
right?
incredible.
Just a guitar, and we just wanted to play. Yeah, so
Wow, that's amazing. Now, Heather, I did want to jump back to you for a second because KW mentioned about going and pursuing into getting a degree, but I also understand that you were awarded a scholarship specifically in music,
Mhm.
but you decided not to pursue that degree anyway. Can you talk more about that?
I guess a little bit. And again, I'm not saying like it was a tough decision. I was basically choosing between music and, this sounds crazy, but the military. And
Really?
yeah, because but the military is very stable. And I was like, okay, I'll go in, get my degree, serve 5 years, get out, and then move on. At least I'll have a stable job. Because at the time, I would say it's probably not much different now, right? People are graduating from college and not getting jobs. And so
yeah,
my fear
Yeah.
was, as both my parents were teachers, they were like, they were cutting special programs, they were cutting music. So it's like, if you don't make it in performance, that's your fallback is music education, which is fantastic. But they were cutting the program. So I was like, oh man. So I decided to kind of put it aside and pick it up here and there. But Yeah, that's what I ended up doing. I went for
And then she
stability.
found me.
And I found this guy.
Rest is history. So
First of all, I do want to mention, Heather, thank you so much for your service. I do, thank you so much for your service. So, yeah, that's truly incredible. So, KW, you now going from learning by ear from Casey Kasem tapes with your friends to pursuing it professionally, there's a little bit of a gap there, I would say, between those things. So, can you talk more about then your decision that you wanted to do this as a professional career and how that came
oh,
about?
of course. I just wanted to pursue music. Once I got into guitar, I said, to hell with the studies, to hell with everything. We were literally, my friends were also literally 15 hours a day. I mean, I wouldn't do any homework. I wouldn't do anything. So I didn't even want to go to school. So, but then the parents came in and they said, okay, fine, we're going to take this guitar away. Please play it, do whatever you want, but finish, get good grades. So I think that ethics, I think my parents taught me. Otherwise, if it would have been for me, I would have just left everything and just started playing guitar. So then I think it's very important that if it's just a hobby, hobbies after a while fade away, right? Hobbies will, you playing video games, you'll play them and then you'll maybe not play them after 10 years. Similarly, you're doing basketball, right, it's just a hobby after work, maybe you'll stop, but those athletes or whoever reached there, then it's not a hobby for them. So guitar,
Yeah.
I knew it even at that time was not a hobby for me. I wanted to play, I wanted to keep playing. So I actually made time after school, and then even after, during my college, during my university, during my degrees, I made sure to make time for guitar, even if everybody was going out and probably going to a bar and having fun. I would stay home and play the guitar. I mean, probably that's how I survived, because if I was just playing, then I would have not qualified, right? I would not have graduated. So I made time for it. So, going out was not important for me. Guitar was.
Wow.
So, it started, we formed a band, and then again, right from the beginning, I and all of my friends, we all, because I think learning by ear, right? Figuring everything out, because we don't even know what chords were. So figuring everything out. So we were, I think, even right from the start, we were into creating something original, not copying something or not playing something which is already out there. Of course, we learn from it. Everybody learns from it, right? Because there's so much music out there, and there's so many awesome artists and so awesome musicians. You pick up from them. But even from that early stage, we wanted to do something on our own. So even in the 90s, we were probably the first band in our city who had original songs. Everybody else was playing,
Really?
whatever was, I think it was, they were playing Megadeth, they were playing Guns N' Roses, they were playing Bon Jovi, they were playing all that stuff. We were playing our original song. Of course there were covers here and there, but mostly original. So I think that ethic continued during my masters as well. We created an instrumental album. We were in, there are other two PhD students, I was doing a masters. We created an album. I went back to Pakistan, worked there, and then had bands. We again recorded, created albums, made my own studio, and I would call it, it was a studio plus record label, because I recorded there, mixed, mastered everything there, of course with my friends, and then released on our own. I even went to the CD printing station and printed the CDs. There were CDs at that time, and then
Wow.
yeah, and then distributed to shops on our own. Sorry, we were the record label, honestly. So that still remains. So now it's Dawn in the Dark, and in that process we won awards all over, in India, in Malaysia, and then and we played all over, in my country, Pakistan, in India, in Dubai, in Malaysia, and yeah, what else? Mostly there, yeah. Mostly in the Asian region.
That's incredible. So let's talk about Dawn in the Dark, because I know that we just jumped quite a bit of time frame here, but I do want
Because it's
to
a
jump
long
right
story. If I went
into.
into that, then it'll just be that story.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the new project, which So can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, how did this project come together?
Yeah, we met online.
Well, I was gonna say, do you want to start with? Yeah, I mean, it's like we met through music actually,
Yeah, through music.
and but the funny part of it was, so one of the songs on the album called "My Apology"
Yeah,
was it was kind of a whim, and we were just kind of chatting online, and he sends me, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you this file, and see if you can write on it." He's like, "You sing, right? So try writing." And I was like, and then I was thinking to myself, well, either this, I'm going to completely destroy this beautiful, piece of like acoustic guitar chords, and I'm just going to completely wreck this with my music and lyrics, or with my with my melody. And he's going to be like, "Okay, it's nice knowing you, thanks." Or I was like, or maybe maybe you will like it. So yeah, he actually ended up liking it, and we talked more about it, and I think that's where I don't know, really kind of like bonded over that for sure. But
yeah.
I guess that's honestly kind of how it started.
And that
that
piece,
song.
exactly. And the other thing is that piece had been lying with me for a while, and I had shared it with friends. Who come to the studio. Nothing concrete had happened, right? And then I also had shared it with some friends. I think, you share with friends over Messenger as well, right? That this is a nice idea. Check this out. No response. So then I shared it with her, and she comes back with this melody. And it was great, right? So I was like, wow. So that's at least somebody understood that, right? So that's how we got that connection. Because again, with music, Mike, you must be very well aware. It's that click, right, which you have with that person.
Yep.
Because these group of musicians, all these big bands that we listen to, they all had that click together. Even if you take one of them out, it's not that magic anymore. So again, it's that click. I mean, she understood what that was, and she came back with such a nice melody. It's a
I'll
album.
also.
It's called My Apology. That's her first song.
It's interesting because I will also add to that too. That click that you mentioned, you said it yourself, is that you noticed how quickly she responded.
Yeah,
Right. So Heather, like this is an attribute to you, is that it's not only just about the chemistry. I mean, it is the chemistry, but it's also the fact that you responded right away,
Right.
where everyone else that did not receive any response. And I think that also is a big attribute toward that chemistry, was how quickly that you responded
yeah,
back.
Well, and it's funny too, because there's some things that he's written, and we've got tons and tons of stuff that just he'll play some chords, and it's like, and they'll just hit you at a certain time. But there's been a couple of the songs that like he played it, and I'm like, record that, send it to me right now. I need to write it
yeah.
right now. Like,
That has
'cause it's
happened. Yeah.
coming, it's happening. And so I don't know, for whatever reason, what you do, it has an impact, and it's like it causes something to come out. So I don't know what that is, but
Yeah. I mean, one of the songs on the two of the songs, "Can't Count Me Out" and "Stay." We were talking actually, just like this right now. Oh,
right.
and I was playing, and he said, "Oh, wow, this is great," and I sent it to them in their songs. So they literally were like this.
Yeah.
Not even like we were sitting in a room and creating them. We were actually not even in the same room, like sort of, I would say, completely remote, right, thousands of miles away. And I was playing, and she said, "Oh, this is great. Let's just record. Just send this to me," and we have a song. And they are on the record, and they, I mean, I'm really, I really, we love these songs.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's good, and that's important too, right? You have to love the material that you're producing, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
now I'm curious because the band formed how long ago? 2-3 years ago? When did the whole project form?
I guess it was kind of technically, we came up
2022.
with their name, and it was really like the end of, like it's like, I guess 2022, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like 3 years, and we'll definitely get into this in a bit here. But you released your debut album, not like from this recording, not too long ago.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
which is very fascinating because even though it's a debut album, it's not just your debut album; it's the first recorded material that you released for this project. Period.
Yeah.
Well,
Over that period of
I
time.
guess with the one
Yes.
exception. So the two last tracks we did like
Were acoustic,
unplugged
yeah.
or acoustic tracks that, and of course you can see they're notably different from the version. We thought that'd be kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is how we started. So when we recorded them both in like September 2022, I think. when we were back in Pakistan, and
with
just
with tabla as the
tabla.
percussions, not drums. So acoustics,
Hmm.
tabla, and her voice,
Mhm.
and that is very
Wow.
different from the recorded versions. Recorded versions are
Yes,
with drums,
I would
bass.
say quite
Yeah.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so
So,
we technically posted those on YouTube, just to kind of like put it out there.
hmm.
But then until then, yeah, we'll let you ask your question. But at least, yeah, there is a gap.
There's this, yeah. So I was just curious about that gap, and that makes sense because you're essentially testing the waters and seeing, putting stuff, you're putting your feelers out there, right, and seeing what the interest is like. But also, the recordings now are fundamentally different from back then. So, were you waiting because you wanted to see like what the interest level was? Like, what was the decision between waiting for the last couple of years for releasing this recorded music the way it is now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would say there are many factors. First of all, I was in Pakistan, so I shifted here. We got married. I shifted here. So I mean, of course, once you shift from a place, I mean, it takes a time, to adjust. So there was that
Mm-hmm.
factor. The other factor was that these songs we had written mostly remotely, so we had never actually sort of played them with a band. I mean, we had. I mean, she had come to Pakistan, and we had a band, but it was more like I would say like winging it, right? Let's just wing the song. It's 4x4. Let's just go with it. So and you finish the song. But if you go like that into a studio, the essence of the song and the feel of the song is not there. I mean, it's so our thing was, let's just get a band going. Let's just get into the feel of the songs. Let's just play them live. Let them evolve. They are very good ideas. We have got verses, we've got choruses, we've got an idea of what a solo looks like, and we have got the structure. Let's just play it with the band. Let's just see how it sounds like. So they sort of evolved. So when we were like, yeah, now I think they sound pretty good. Let's just go and record them. So that's then we went and then we recorded, which was again a very great experience.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you had the songs written, but then when you were performing them live, you were making changes to the songs as you
yes,
went
Right.
until you got to the point where you felt, okay, this is where we want these songs to be at,
yeah,
and then went to the studio and to record.
yeah,
Right.
I love that. I think more artists should that is use. I know some will use open mics and things like that to test out songs and so forth, but I feel like that artists these days feel the pressure that they have to continuously release recordings. It's okay. Here's the idea. Let's go into the studio. We can make some adjustments in the studio and so forth, and then off the song goes, and then that is the recorded song. And I like the idea of using the audience essentially and using your own personal experience to work on those songs until the
yeah,
point until you get to the point where you feel confident in them and proud of them, and then go into the studio and to record.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And I would just like to add one more thing. I mean, again, as an artist, the entire process, the entire song needs to sound good to yourself. Because if it's not even sounding good to you,
You don't want to be picky, right? You're like, no, 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 no.
yeah,
This
I mean,
isn't like this. Just doesn't.
yeah, because just like, I mean, I recorded recording process. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a couple of, I mean, she did a couple of takes. I would sit there, I would say, I don't like this, do it again. And then similarly, I did like maybe 6 or 7 solos, and she would say, no, this one, no, doesn't work. So again, I mean, I could be picky, I could say no, but then eh, again, as an artist, it's always good to not just compromise. I mean, that's very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I 100% agree, especially when it comes to the creative process.
yeah,
You should not have to compromise on your own
yeah.
works.
So we let this
Did
evolve.
you
And that's why I mean, we're very happy with the product. We're very
Mhm.
very happy.
Absolutely.
did you produce the album,
Yeah,
Kato? Because I know that you're also a producer.
yeah.
Excellent. Wow.
But with the
That
help
must
of,
be interesting having those dual roles, right? Because it's very different when you are behind the board and recording and then also needing to perform at the same time. It definitely is a multi-talent thing because being a producer and then also being a musician and performer are very different types of skill sets.
oh, they are. But generally the way things are evolving these days, I mean, they're changing. It's a one role now. It's becoming one role. So if you're an artist,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's to your advantage if you're also know how to go and promote yourself. And it's also very important how to basically make an entire good song from start till finish yourself. Because if you see, I mean, some of these new names which are coming out, they're doing everything themselves. They don't need anyone.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
It's what I like to put it is, you don't need anybody, but you do need people.
Yeah.
And it's like, because what, so on the right, it's one of those things where you should at least understand it, is the way I like to put it. For example, it is a very different skill set to be a producer. There are some musicians that would not be able to produce their own work. So they just don't have that ability to do so. But at the very least, understand the role, and understand what that producer is trying to accomplish, because it will make you a better musician because of it. Because now you understand what a producer needs. It also means too that if you are going into the studio with a producer and you are hiring that producer, to making sure that they're doing their job. And if you don't, if you don't know what that job actually is and what they're supposed to do, you don't know how to communicate with them about making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, right? You may think that they're not doing their job correctly, but they actually are, but you just don't know any better. And vice versa. You may think everything is fine, but then realize they're not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing on the other end too. So I think it's very important. It's like the saying, jack of all trades, master of none, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a master in all the things, but you should have at least an understanding.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like you said, promotion too is a big one, right? Not everybody knows how to promote themselves. Musicians, they may be the most talented musician in the world, but they have no clue on how they actually can promote themselves.
And they're shy. I mean, a lot of musicians and artists are very shy.
Very much.
Yeah. I mean, they don't know how to go and even speak or have any sort of communication. They're in their own world. So yeah.
And especially now in a world, and I'm very kind of curious of both of your opinions on this, about, especially all this, 20, 30 years later, right? Everything has changed very much, very fundamentally in the music industry. And nowadays people want to see the artist. They want to know about themselves and their lives, or something about them. And like you said, there are many artists that are very introverted and they don't like to talk about themselves in that particular way, but they also feel a little coerced or forced into doing that because that's what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, that's, well,
that is actually a dilemma. And I think that will remain. I would say there are 2 points over here. First of all is your financial security. If you're financially secure, right, then I don't think so it even matters if whatever you're doing anybody even likes. You're liking it yourself, you're financially secure, there you go. But now if you're depending on it, right, if it is going to bring you some way of putting food on the table, then it becomes very important that people like it. So, I mean, there are 2 sides to it, and I don't think so any side is wrong. I mean, it depends upon how you look at it. Yeah,
I totally agree. I think it definitely, I think it's important to understand that that's the reason why you're going into it, because I've also seen where artists will want to write what they want to write and record what they want to record, regardless of whether anybody likes it or not. But then they get upset when nobody likes it.
Yes, that happens.
Right. That happens. I've seen that happen quite often. And then I've also seen the other aspect of it, which is they go into it for the wrong reasons, where they expect that even if they write something that people like, that, and they do all the things that they're supposed to do, and then they get either frustrated because it doesn't work out, or B, sometimes even worse, it does work out, but they absolutely hate what they're doing.
Yeah.
Which I also seen too. And I think that's important, is that it has to be something that you do. Like, you have to go in it for the right reasons for yourself, and nobody can tell you what those reasons are except for yourself.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, I will add, one of the things I like to say quite often, I say this quite a bit on the show, is if your audience was 0, would it still be worth doing?
I would say.
And
Oh,
Sorry.
you're answering, or is that?
yeah, no, it's a rhetorical question, but still, it's like, but that's the bottom line, right? And that can mean different things to different people,
Yeah.
right? So, for example, for yourselves, you're proud of the music that you're releasing. You're releasing it for yourselves. You're just releasing to anybody else that also happens to like it.
Yeah.
In addition to that, right? So for others, it might be that I'm doing this because I want to find out what people like, and even if my audience is 0, the process behind it is helping me get to that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's practice.
Yeah.
I know for myself, one of the reasons why I started this podcast, in fact, was that for that reason was if the audience was 0, would it still be worth for me to do? And I started this podcast during the pandemic because I used it as a tool for me to network with people and to release content and content that I own.
Yeah.
So that's why I started it. And I found out that I actually also loved it at the same time. But that's why I originally started it. And that's why I was okay at the beginning that my audience was 0 because of that reason. Because for me, it was practice in front of a mic. It was getting to meet new and interesting people. And also it was content that I can be creative with. So it was my own creative outlet. So it became its own meaning. And now it's like, okay, I want to now grow this and see where I can take it. So
That's very cool.
I think it's really coming down that perspective is so important. And also what you're willing to do. Ironically, I'm a host of a podcast, and I'm naturally an introverted person. I'm not the person that goes out into parties and things like that too. Like I'd rather stay at home and chill than go out. I mean, I'll go out and hang, but that's my natural preference.
Natural.
And yeah, that's exactly. So for me specifically, I had to get myself out of my shell a little bit, out of my comfort zone to do these things. And I definitely feel like I've grown because of it. But I also found how it worked for me. You know, case in point, social media. I did like the talking head thing a little bit while because being in the music industry and going, oh, like you should do this. I hated those. I could not stand doing those tips and tricks things. It just didn't feel like me. Where nowadays the podcast is my vehicle. I can take clips from this podcast episode, and then that's content I can produce. I do promo clips now, which I actually really enjoy, that talks about the episode and gets people hyped up for them. I've also been doing these edited clips of me going out and going to different places, whether it's to a show or a convention or conference, doing these clips and doing a voiceover over them. But that's fun to me because those are creative outlets for myself, and I can do what I would like to do within those things. So I found what works for me for social media specifically are things that I can enjoy, because that's the thing about social media, right? Is a tool like anything else, and you can choose how to use that tool. If you prefer not to show your face, and I'll take my phone here, and I'll have my face here and start recording something, there are an infinite number of other ideas you can do that doesn't require that. And I think that's the whole point, is that I think if you don't like to do those things, you can certainly find other things that you can do that you can produce and release to help promote yourself.
Yeah.
I think you need to coach me. That's what needs to happen.
This is for years of experience and practice, and also facing these things myself.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time I was terrible, and I'm still working on it today. You kidding? Like, it's a constant effort. It's hard. It's just hard.
Yeah.
And that's the pros and cons to this, right? Is that when it comes to social media, I love to talk about, expanding even beyond this, is that KW, you mentioned before about record labels and things like that. But even back in the 80s, 90s, you were releasing music on your own, which is insanely awesome. I'll put it that way. That's insanely awesome. But incredibly hard to do. These days, it's a different story, is that there are so many resources that are out there right now that you can release. We could record a song right now and release it, and within 24 hours give it access to the entire world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's never happened in the history of humanity.
Never.
And that is a truly powerful and awesome thing. And same thing is true with social media. Social media, you could put $0 into it. Not like, like the time to promote something, you would have to extensively tour or play shows, get press, and which either had to hire somebody to do or figure out how to do it on your own and you figure out how to get yourself on the radio, work all these things out, which still applies to today. But now you're adding social media on top of that, where you can reach to a massive millions of people without spending a single dime, theoretically speaking. So, I mean, that's an incredibly powerful tool, but because it's accessible to everyone, now everyone's releasing music. So now there's a lot more competition that's out there.
Competition as well, and plus there is a lot of noise as well. So because just like I was mentioning earlier, there's a difference between hobbyists and artists, right? So I mean, it's very good that all of these hobbyists now have an outlet, right? Earlier they did not have an outlet earlier. So now, even if you, let's say, going to be playing or singing for 2 years or playing guitar for 2 years, you can record that moment or those moments, and you can put them, sort of immortalize them, right? If they're there, they'll be there forever. So I mean, that's very good. But that has brought in, for the actual artists, right, who actually want to pursue it or who actually want to make money out of it, it's made them sort of very difficult for them to sort of get through that layer. I would call that a layer, right? Because you have to get above that. Because there's so much content now coming out from these hobbyists plus actual artists who are, not the known artists, because the known artists everybody knows. They're going to go and listen to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's these upcoming talented artists. So they are getting buried. So that is sort of a dilemma these days, that how to sort of get above that layer. And I think everybody is trying to find a way to navigate that layer, I would say, because all.
So
we are also trying it.
So you're trying to.
So I'll tell you, because there are various social media platforms. There's Facebook, there's Insta, there's Twitter, there is
we haven't really
YouTube.
done with TikTok much.
TikTok. I mean, if you start talking about them, there are multiple social media channels out there. Plus, for all of these, there's a different way that in terms of how to promote yourself or how to get that name out there, right? Having said that, since everybody is trying, there are multiple companies out there who are trying to sort of portray that they're going to help you, but they're not going to help you. So you have to watch out for them.
Yes.
And in the meanwhile, what I would say these days, currently, what has helped us, and I would would like to share it with everyone out there who's interested, is don't think global. Number one, that you should not be limited to your local area only or to your local scene. Think global. Anybody out there can listen to you. I'm an example. I have people listening to me in Pakistan, all the way from Pakistan, all here up till San Francisco. So people will listen to you. Number two is that you will have to go out yourself to promote yourself. If you just depend on companies, or if you give a few dollars to a certain company, they're just going to make money out of you. They're not going to promote you. So you have to go out yourself. This is what we are doing. So now our album is out. We are going to be performing. We are even going to mic nights again. We're just going to mic nights and saying, hey guys, we have an album out. We just want to play a few songs. And we don't have our drummer is just going to play the cajon, and I'll be on the acoustic and she's going to sing. So that's the way to network. And then we tell people, here's the album, you can hear the entire song. So I mean, this is what we have to do, what one has to do these days.
Figuring it out.
And don't depend on these social media channels. They are good, they will get the word out there, but it's a gamble.
It is a gamble, and it has to be a piece of your pie.
Yeah,
it can't be the whole pie.
It can't be,
right?
It can't be. Yeah,
because the thing is, because that's the thing too, right? Is that if you're relying just that one thing, like you said, it's a gamble to begin with. So there's no guarantees that is alone is going to work. And even if it does work, okay, great. And this is why I always suggest that you cater to multiple platforms at once. Doesn't have to be too many, but at least two, because what happens if, for example, TikTok shuts down tomorrow? Yeah. It's unlikely. It's highly unlikely, but it might. And then your audience goes to zero. I mean, we're going to age ourselves a little bit, but remember the time of MySpace artists?
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a thing, and you had to be on MySpace, and you were the MySpace artist for that reason. And when MySpace wasn't MySpace anymore and everyone left the platform, the ones that did not transcend over, they lost their audience, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
And that has happened time and again. So this is not, that is definitely very possible. It might not be immediate, but it definitely is certainly possible. I will also mention too that you have your music video out on YouTube as well. And YouTube is also an extremely powerful tool and platform for discovering. I think I could be mistaken, so don't quote me on this, but I think it is the number 2 search engine in the world, and it's only number 2 because from Google. I think I think YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world for searching for anything.
Yeah.
So it is a very, very powerful tool, and is still very relevant today to release material onto YouTube. Even if it's just even if you don't have the budget, for example, for a music video or anything along those lines, you can still put up a visualizer, or even if it's just the album artwork and putting your song up there. It's still worth it. There are people that I know that use YouTube, not YouTube Music, but YouTube to listen to music.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
You're right.
So yeah, it's a very interesting time. I did want to mention, speaking of challenges and also technology and so forth, I would love to hear both of your thoughts on where AI is, because of course that's a major topic right now that a lot of musicians are discussing, both the musicians' rights, songwriters' rights specifically, but also too, how is it going to change the industry? Because now there are a number of artists and songwriters that are concerned about whether their jobs are going to be even relevant in the next even couple of years, let alone what's going to happen next year.
Why don't you go ahead first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah. I mean, your thoughts on this AI.
We talk about it all the time, and of course, we're big fans of watching Rick Beato's channel, so he has all sorts of interesting insights as well. So watching those things, but I think trying not to be all negative about it, and use the tool for something that we can do something productive with. I mean, yes, it can be, it could be used to harm, but I think there's a lot of opportunities there too. We've kind of discussed like ways that we might be able to use it as far as like composition. So say we have composition, but maybe it helps provide a little bit of creativity to finish that out. And that's something we've talked about because we've got other songs we want to work on and finalize. But that's something that we've talked about using that might be helpful. I know there's a lot of musicians out there showing how they're using it. If as far as like, embellishing or taking something, a melody or something, and making it and,
shaping it.
Yeah, exactly. Shaping it and
making it go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
definitely.
I think there's advantages to do that where it's just like just AI in general assisting with creativity. Just say like, I have some ideas. Let me throw some prompts in there and then see what it gets back. Oh, now I can riff off of those ideas. I would think that it's a useful tool in that respect. Yeah. I don't think it's the boogeyman, but maybe I'm naive.
I mean, it's a good point of discussion. I would say that AI or whatever these tools, Suno, they are created by humans. So they basically, whatever they're basically dumb. They have to be taught. So anyways, in an artistic inspiration, which comes naturally, is not there. They learn from whatever is already out there, and then they present it to you. So I don't think so. Those roles of a producer or the role of those roles are going away anytime very soon, because that human element has to be there. I know there will be a lot of noise with this AI stuff. There'll be a lot of music out there, which probably you might not know if it's created half by humans, half by AI. But I mean, this is the way this world is evolving, right? So you have to live with it. So you try to do your best. Try to use it to your advantage, like Heather mentioned. See if you have an idea, maybe if it helps you progress that idea to somewhere which interests you. There are multiple uses to it. But yes, I agree. Now the musicians will have to, and these producers will have to face this sort of demon in the coming days.
It does remind me to a degree when auto-tuning came out.
Yeah.
Now, this is on a whole nother level. I want to make that clear. This is a whole nother
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
But it does remind me, and if you remember when auto tuning became popular, people were saying back then of, oh, that's the end of singers. You could not have any singing talent whatsoever now,
Yeah.
and use auto tune. Just do auto tune, and now anybody can sound good,
Yeah.
right? But literally, that's what the industry was saying, and to a degree, was you don't even have to have a talented singer, and obviously that became not true.
Right.
Right. Now, this is something on a far grander scale. So it is different in that way. But it also is an example of technology that helped progress and help with the creative that at the time was being way overdone
Yeah.
because it was something new and shiny. And so everyone wanted to do it. But then at some point, it kind of scaled back a little bit and then found its place in production.
And it's being used regularly. And another thing
Yep.
is that everybody's worried about all these new kids on the block suddenly using Suno and just jumping into the scene and just making it difficult or whatever. Just imagine how helpful it is going to be for actual musicians, actual artists. So if no
Yeah.
one can sit over there and make a song, just imagine how a good artist can use it to help finish some material which has been sitting for ages, and they don't know what to do with it. So maybe just get an idea there. I don't know. It's again, I think one has to adapt. I mean, there are
It's
purists out there, and those purists will always say that this is we're going to hell, everything is down the drain. And there have been purists every decade, every year. I mean, so we have seen that,
oh,
but things evolve.
always
Yeah.
time and again. And also AI can help teach you too. I mean, can you imagine, KW, if I'm thinking back to when you talk about listening to Casey Kasem tapes and learning how to play guitar. Can you imagine now as a kid being like, I don't know how to play this instrument, and then asking AI, can you teach me how to play this instrument?
It's that.
Which is also kind of scary too for teachers out there. I'm a big believer in teachers, but but the whole point is though, is that I don't think it even replaces any of those things. I think it's just an additional, just like anything
It's an
else.
additional tool to help.
It's an additional tool to help you. Exactly. I don't think will it replace certain things? Absolutely. That new technology will always do that. It will replace certain things, but it's also going to create new opportunities as well. I mean, especially those who are extremely talented, but maybe not talented in a specific area. Maybe I'm a brilliant songwriter, but I cannot play an instrument for my life.
Yeah.
Well, now I can use all this technology to make beautiful music that I was not able to do before, or vice versa, where maybe I'm an insane guitarist player, but I don't know how to songwrite for anything. Right. And then I can help. And then and of course you usually will get a person songwriter, but this is another tool, or maybe at least it hones in on your skill sets as a songwriter, or maybe that helps you convey your ideas to a songwriter, and then they can help you finish and write the song.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the human element is still very important, and AI definitely gets you a lot further there. But it doesn't necessarily bring you to the finish line, at least not yet. It may in the future. We have no idea. We don't know where that ceiling is yet. And I've talked to colleagues of mine who know way more about this stuff than I do, and I get different answers from everybody. So truly, nobody really knows where that ceiling is going to be, if there even is going to be a ceiling.
Yeah. Keep adapting. I would say keep adapting. I mean, that this is what we are trying to do, because I work in the AI industry on the software side, right? So again, like I'm telling you, based on my experience, AI is just this buzzword which has been created, and this buzzword has taken everyone by storm. Basically, AI or whatever that is nothing without a human. It's a dumb machine. You have to teach it. So again, just like I mentioned again, don't I don't think so anybody should think about or anybody should be worried, or anybody should think that their abilities or their talents or their visions in terms of creating something pure are going away anytime soon. I would just say keep believing, keep doing what you're doing, and try to see how this new scenario or this new scene which is currently this AI scene can help you, can actually make your product I would call it a product if you want to put it out there. How it can help you make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the human element, I do want to talk about something quite different, which is you have a nonprofit called Guitar Collective. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. So,
Speaking of COVID, right? Like
yeah, speaking of COVID,
similarly.
similarly, COVID, we were locked, performances were no performances, everything was shut down, you were just locked at home. So, I had this idea, that we should, all the guitar players in South Asia, basically Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, we should just get together and just do online sessions. So, I mean, since I was, part of the scene back in Pakistan and I had toured, so I knew a lot of guitar players of the other bands who were, I toured with. So everybody knows everyone. As you know, in the music scene, generally, if you're into it, through one person, you know the other person. So, I got them together. They loved the idea. And one of them is also very, famous guitar player of Pakistan. He suggested the name Guitar Collective. So we just went along with it. We started these online sessions because everybody was sort of at that time depressed. They were down. They had nothing to do. So we talked about guitars, how we got into music. Because, uh, in South Asia, there's no magazine called like a Guitar World or like a where you learn about guitar players. So I knew about all the other guitar players because I was interested in guitar and they were my friends. The audience, they don't know about the guitar players. So we talked about how we actually got into guitar, how we picked up the instrument, what instruments we have, how to use amps. I know everybody could go into YouTube and see, but it's good to see how the people that they saw performing live right up on stage, how they plug in, how do. So I mean, it was very interesting. So we started off just like, we were discussing from zero, maybe, 5, 10. So now I'm very humbled to say that we are about 5,400. And there,
5,400.
yeah, not guitar
Congrat.
players. So the
Wow.
way it works is that it's non-profit because there's everybody is a moderator. So you have to be a guitar player. So you have to have some content. It's not like everybody becomes a moderator, and then we just make that person a moderator. So you go and post whatever you want, and the 5,400 is the audience, and I would say the moderators are about 200. So 200 guitar players.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it
That's incredible.
continues and is basically for all the South Asian guitar players.
Well, can you also talk about like, well, you this last year, or I should say earlier
Oh,
this
yeah, yeah,
year,
yeah.
just the in person, just trying to inspire folks in that region, guitar players especially, to get together and play. I really think you kind of brought a lot of folks out of their shells and just to get together with the filming opportunity and a couple of performances and concerts of
Yes. So yeah,
folks
Guitar
working at
Collective,
it in person.
produced. We produced our first season, and I'm glad we did it totally on our own. So I produced it. So I got all the. I was in Islamabad, so I got all my musician friends who are part of Guitar Collective to just come and perform, and we, another friend of mine, he got us a very nice venue. So we did the stage and the lighting and the sound, and we recorded it, four camera recording. We recorded with four cameras and live performance, and then we released it a couple of months back. And yeah, it's got a very very good response. Just again to inspire and motivate, so that just keep at it, keep doing, and keep playing.
And there was a good turnout. I mean, we didn't do any filming of it, but it was a great show in the horror as
Yeah.
well, where there was multiple groups that came out. Yeah, I think people just enjoyed being together, performing together,
Yeah.
because it just you've inspired a lot of people to continue on. I think
Because yeah, this was something separate, because it doesn't mean that there are no events happening. Events happen,
right.
but this was like a sort of very personal, non-commercial venture. Because generally it's a commercial thing, right? Where there's lots of other activities going on. There are sponsors involved. I mean, and generally it's a pretty big event. This was more personal. So and people actually when you talk about these musicians as well, they really enjoy playing in these personal events, which are very personal, where you can actually it doesn't everything doesn't have to be choreographed. You can improvise, you can play whatever you want, and you can actually I would take it like as a jam, right? Not It's not a jam as per se, that you can just keep winging it and going on for 30 minutes, but it's sort of that that comfortable atmosphere, where it's not that one song has to start and has to finish in 4 minutes, and after 8 minutes you're off stage and the other party comes in. No, it's relaxed. So they enjoyed that. They
Mm-hmm.
loved that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, thank you for doing, like, that's amazing. I admire you very much for doing that.
No, thank you, my friend. And the plan is, Mike, that to shift it to other cities moving forward, and shift it globally as well, because we also have a lot of friends in Dubai, and we plan to take it to Dubai, and then we plan to take it, uh, you know, here in the US as well, because there are lots of opportunities in this country as well, which is, it's not going to be a jam. It's not. It's neither is it an open mic night, right? It's sort of like, it's not, nor is it a festival. It's like more of a very personal sort of, and people who are interested in original music, they just get together. And because jams I'm not saying I enjoy jams, can be boring for a lot of people because my wife is an example. She says they never end. They keep going. So it's sort of a bit controlled but a bit loose.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to start wrapping things up here. Before we get to our final questions, real quick, what is next for Dawn in the Dark?
Yeah, we have 3 videos coming up. 4, yeah. Can't Count Me Out. I think you've already seen that. We'll be releasing it to the audience this weekend. Then we have Stay coming up. We have Power in Lives and Fade Away. So 4 videos are planned. Then we are playing in December, early December, December
LA.
6th. We're playing at Molly Malone's in LA. So we basically are
Excellent.
based out of San Francisco. So in the Bay Area, we regularly play here. But I think the Thanksgiving weekend and everything, we don't have many gigs. Our gig will be in LA on December 6th. So if you're in the LA area, you're more than welcome to drop by. You can catch us.
Unfortunately, it won't be. Ironically, that is on my birthday, though.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Well, happy
Happy
birthday in
birthday.
advance.
Happy birthday.
thank you. I appreciate it.
And then just like I told you, our plan is to since we're a new band in the Bay Area, just to hit the local scene, mingle with the locals, and the best scene is the open mics, the jams. Just go there, play 1 or 2 songs, hang out with the crowd, tell them that the album is out, and then of course keep working.
Of course, working on, meanwhile working on our next,
Yeah,
we
working.
have material, but we're
We
slowly
have.
putting that together for the next album. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Because it takes time.
Never
as you know.
stops. hmm So I have a couple of final questions for both of you. Heather, I'm going to start with you first. So the first question I have is, what was the very first concert that you ever went to?
Oh, that is a great question. It's hard to say because it's like I think of church, but as far as like, I don't know. I have to think about like maybe when I was in middle school, I think there was a community pianist concert, and I just remember just like being mesmerized by it, and it's just like wow, just like experiencing, a professional musician live, and just being in it. And it was just piano player, and it was just like wow, because it's different when you're in school and someone's like banging away on the piano, but. Yeah, I think that's probably my first memory, just outside of church. Thinking about that, but because it was very different.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I grew up mostly in a small town, so getting
It's
like
so
a professional
amazing.
artist
I
from out
love
of town
that.
is like, oh.
I think I've heard guests have, really cool concerts that they've went to as their first ones, but I think something to be said about just an incredible pianist that is like that is your introduction to live music. I think there's something to be said about that too. I love that.
I just remember buying like the tape. I can't remember the name of the pianist, but and again, it was all like classics and everything. But I remember buying the cassette tape, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And like listening to a couple of the songs over and over again. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
KW, do you remember your first concert?
My first concert. I mean, I actually don't, honestly. But in Pakistan, I lived in the capital, Islamabad, and they had this big auditorium, right, at the outskirts of Islamabad, and they used to hold, I would call it more like festivals, where a couple of bands would come and play. So I probably remember that when I was young that I attended one of those festivals, and some of the well-known bands of Pakistan, three or four they were playing. So that was, I think, I think 89, 90. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. So here I remember the first concert I went to. I mean, and that was Megadeth. It was They were
Nice.
playing in Pittsburgh. They were playing in Pittsburgh. I've always been a big Megadeth fan. So they were playing in Pittsburgh, and they were playing at a small club, and I got to see them personally. I mean, that probably will call my first concert in the US.
That's
Wow.
actually a good point because it made me think like, what was the first like rock concert I ever went to? Was in college. I know this sounds terrible, but I meant to like.
Yeah.
I remember it was Plum. I remember they were like out. They
Nice.
were just like starting out, and I was just like, "Holy crap, this is so freaking cool!" Because you listen to the tape, and then you're like actually getting it live. You're like, "This experience is so cool."
Well, it is. It was cool. I actually didn't enjoy it that much because I was a big Marty Friedman fan. The guitar player in Megadeth. He had left by then, and there was this other guitar player, and he couldn't play solos. So I mean, I'm basically a solo guitar player, right? So it left a bad taste in my
Hmm.
mouth. I'm not like a Dave Mustaine fan. I was more of a Marty Friedman fan. But again, it was a very good experience.
Do you have a go-to artist right now that you're listening to? I'll let one of you start that one.
Shoot, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
There's a lot.
They're quite a lot. Cardinal Black for me.
Yeah, let's say like
They're
they've
very
been
good.
a lot of fun, and of course we've been listening to Wild Rivers.
Wild Rivers.
Um,
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. It's just kind of.
And the good thing is both of them are independent artists. Awesome. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing it on their own. They're touring on their own, and it's just very motivational, and very good music. I mean, I really really enjoy what they do.
Yeah, we definitely like. We'll share a lot of. We have different tastes in music, so we'll
Yeah.
share stuff across. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Or like, hey, this popped up on my playlist. That's what's fun about. I'm a Pandora fan and he likes Spotify, but just because you're like, oh, here's something new I didn't even listen to before. I didn't think about. It's like, oh wow, this is amazing. This is great. Listen to this song. So that's fun.
We
That's
should definitely
fun.
do that a
This is
little bit more
yeah,
often. Is listening to new music, and because there's so much incredible artists that are
incredible
out there.
stuff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And
totally
again,
agree.
one of the advantages of AI right there, they're suggesting something because you're
Mm-hmm.
listening to that sort of stuff, so they will. So I mean, it's a lot of good uses, very good uses.
I don't know, like
Absolutely.
really open the aperture on artists where like, wow, this song
Yeah.
is really freaking good.
We
It's
found
like,
out Wild River and Cardinal Black through this,
yeah,
both the
sure.
bands.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we went to see them live too, and like they're both
Yeah,
amazing,
yeah,
both
very
amazing
nice.
bands.
So we talked about a lot of different subjects and a lot of different advice, but if you're only able to give one piece of advice to a fellow musician, what would that one piece of advice be?
Keep believing. Don't do it for the money. Do it for
That's
your
true.
own satisfaction. Do it for your own, so that it. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. That feeling. Just keep believing. I would say that's the best word.
Yeah.
How about
I
you,
don't know.
Heather?
Well, the first one, and this is really more for me, is that I mean, I 1,000% support you in that. I'm like, but for me, I have to keep telling myself like, don't get in your own way, because I think when we're kids, we're creative and we're open and we're not thinking about all this other external stuff or like, oh, that was terrible. Oh, why isn't that good enough? And just this self like
Self doubt.
To self-doubt, self-flagellation, like beat yourself up or nonsense, and it stands in the way of your own creativity. So it's like just putting yourself out there and trying. That's something I would say that's my work in progress, is doing that. So not just staying out of my own way in that space, because it ruins creativity completely. So that's and you've helped me so much with that.
Yeah, keep believing. That's it. Keep believing. Every day is a new day. Keep believing. Because once you stop believing, it ends. It's a full stop. Don't put that full stop there. Because every day is a new day. Every minute is a new minute. You don't know. So if you keep believing, that's it. And keep playing, improving yourself, improving your art, whatever that you're doing. There's so many things out there. And just keep believing and keep playing.
Couldn't say it better myself. Well, thank you both so much for the time, for talking with us. I really do appreciate it. We'll definitely make sure that people get a chance to listen to the debut album. Congratulations again. Check out the music video and so forth. I'll make sure that everything is in the show notes. But I do wish you both the best of luck moving forward. And again, congratulations on the album.
Thank you.
Thanks so much,
Thank you
Mike,
so much,
and
Mike.
thanks for the interview, and
Thanks
appreciate
for the
your
interview.
great questions.